Just move to the right shoulder. KFI and the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Robin Banks.
Rick Edelman, #1 New York Times best-selling author and founder of Edelman Financial Engines, takes questions on his radio show.
Hi, Rick. I have a pension and can take it as monthly income or a lump sum. Which do you think is better?
Well, the monthly check is only as safe as your employer's ability to pay it, and the amount will never rise, so inflation will erode its value. You have no access to the principal, and when you die, the money stops, even if you die tomorrow. So we usually recommend the lump sum. You get to invest the money however you want and generate your own income. You have full access anytime, and whatever's left over goes to your spouse or kids. But for some workers, the monthly option is better, so you should meet with a financial advisor to be sure that you're doing what's best for you.
That's Rick Edelman, founder of Edelman Financial Engines, with his advice on pension. If you have a personal finance question, talk to an experienced financial planner at 888-PLAN-RICK or visit rickedelman.com.
SoCal weather from KFI. We've got another sunny day ahead and the last day of relatively cool temperatures with highs just in the low 80s. Highs will be in the upper 80s for tomorrow. We'll make it into the 90s for the weekend, and we could see highs inland hit 100 by Tuesday. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee.
For us, the circle is everything. Our ancestors survived by sticking together. Today, life is a bit easier, but our challenges are not. COVID-19, a disease that has hit our communities hard. Now, more than ever, we need to stick together and keep the circle strong. We need everyone, young and old, women, men, rural and urban. The circle calls on us to care for and encourage others. You not only have the voice to share your knowledge that vaccines are safe and effective, but the ability to help your family and your community members. It might be as simple as helping them to make the appointment or giving them a ride. It's our time to complete the circle.
We can do this. Go to vaccines.gov to find vaccines near you. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, it's Gary Hoffman. Let's talk about your Medicare coverage. Are you new to Medicare? Scan Health Plan is here to help. With Scan, you get comprehensive coverage plus extra benefits that may surprise you, all with exceptional service you won't find anywhere else. Call Scan at 1-855-370-7226, TTY711, or ask your agent about Scan. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
After all the time inside our homes this past year, the time is now to get outdoors. The all-new Avello Airlines is inspiring travel with flights starting as low as $19. Experience incredible wine tasting to national parks to epic outdoor adventures at the West's most beautiful destinations. With $19 fares, why not be spontaneous? Visit AvelloAir.com. That's AvelloAir.com and book your flight today. Avello Airlines. Surprisingly low fares, refreshingly smooth travel. AvelloAir.com. Restrictions may apply. Visit AvelloAir.com for details.
If you're tired of struggling with business, mortgage, or credit card debt, go to OaktreeLaw.com. That's OaktreeLaw.com.
Live,
KFI,
local,
AM 640,
and iHeart radio station.
I love it when we can play dress up at work.
I'll post that.
I did. I just did.
You did? Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right.
At Gary and Shannon on Instagram. We got into the toys down the hall.
I didn't know where that came from. This morning when I walked in, I thought somebody was like hauling trash bins in here to just clear out the office altogether.
Yeah.
And it turns out...
Clear out all the stuff we brought into the office in the
like
pandemic.
The cornhole and the basketball hoop and the ping pong table. It turns out that there is a... I don't even know what that character is. It's like it's a Dodgers bobblehead, but it's a giant mascot size bobblehead.
I wonder who wore that before me.
I don't know.
Jennifer and I were talking about different costumes we've had to don in our days.
Oh, yeah.
And I remembered a time when I was in junior high that I was the Marin Catholic Wildcat mascot for a time during basketball season.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
that thing smelled like teenage boy to no end. It was the worst thing. I can still smell it today.
I was an Easter bunny for a radio station promotion in Reading, and it was like 150 degrees on Easter that year. So there I am in the stupid bunny costume, and I would have to sit out there and have little kids come and like hang out and take pictures with me, and I'd be all happy. Then I would go run into the freezer of the holiday market, run into the freezer and take my head off. So there's a half-dawn bunny sitting there with her head off, getting cool, before I have to go be happy again with kids.
I love that Rosen Island story. So good.
I only think the not craziest thing I had to do was dress up as Steve Irwin, crocodile hunter,
Oh, yeah.
post-death,
Oh.
where I had a stingray sticking through my body. It was for one of the Handel shows.
I was going to say, what occasion was this for?
You know, but it was not. Didn't involve like a giant mascot suit or anything.
You couldn't do that joke today.
No.
Mm-mm.
You're right. I probably now that you
It
mentioned
would be anti-stingray.
A couple stories. American consumers absorbed another surge in prices in May, 0.6% increase over the last month, and a 5% increase in consumer prices over the last year. So they're looking at potential inflation.
Well, last week we told you about Cal OSHA and their new guidelines that as we return to work, everyone still has to wear a mask, except if everyone's vaccinated. And we all had the question legally of what? Workplaces can't ask you about your health. That's in violation of your privacy. How are we going to know who's vaccinated and who's not? And how many uncomfortable work environments will result from finding out who the guy is that's not vaccinated and why we all have to wear masks?
Yeah, imagine the situation where Bob from accounting volunteers the fact that he's not vaccinated. For whatever reason, he doesn't want to be, or he's got health issues, or he already had the COVID, which also doesn't play into this, which is strange. But then the bosses say to you, well, actually, everybody still has to wear them. The 99 other people who work here still have to wear masks, even though they're all vaccinated. But who is not vaccinated? And they say, we can't tell you.
Well, Cal OSHA apparently listens to the show. They heard our concerns, and they called an emergency meeting for last night. And they said, you know what, we're going to back off that. Let's think about falling in line with Newsom's fully reopening June 15th plan. Let's think about maybe just getting rid of the masks. Well, I don't know about that, but we'll figure it out by next week.
Right. So Tuesday's going to roll around, and Cal OSHA is still enforcing rules that were set up in November of last year. Now, what they've said is June 15th, according to the governor, we're open for business with some small exceptions. And June 17th is when Cal OSHA is going to meet again to try to figure out what they're going to do. But even if they do meet on June 17th and come up with a plan that is at least in line with California Department of Public Health and the CDC when it comes to masking in workplaces, those won't go into effect until June 28th. So the only way to fix this, and again, I came up with this conspiracy theory last week or 2 weeks ago when Cal OSHA was going to meet for the first time, and they punted on it. And I said the only person who has the control with the swipe of a pen to change these rules is Governor Newsom. I said they were giving him a get-out-of-recall card on a platter by allowing him to look like a hero and come forward and say, well, listen, Cal OSHA is doing their work. I, in the meantime, am going to write an executive order or sign an executive order that says that Cal OSHA rules temporarily will be in line with whatever the California Department of Public Health and the CDC says when it comes to vaccinated people and whether or not they need to wear masks in the workplace.
However, remember just last week, didn't we break the news about the state's largest labor organization writing a massive check for the anti-recall effort?
Yes, because they're about to change presidents.
And it's the labor representatives that have called for Cal OSHA not to relax the mask standards. Why? Because it frees them in contract talks to demand more money for their workers.
Yeah.
Because now they can say that their workers are unsafe because the state has relaxed the masks guidelines or whatever. So he's got to then, if he's going to sign an executive order, he's FNUing the very people who just put a fat check in his pocket.
And again, listen, I said this a while ago. One of the ways for him to guarantee that he's not recalled is to stand up to the labor unions, whether
But
it's
you got to
general
follow the
labor
money.
unions. I know.
And they're the ones bankrolling this thing.
I know, but at this point, I think they would forgive him down the line, right? I feel like this is their relationship is cozy enough that he can get away with a one-time thing that says, hey, on June 15th, we're all going to be following the same rules. We need to come up with a clear, specific set of rules that in a very general term says, if you are vaccinated or if you have had the COVID, you do not have to wear a mask. You do not have to. You could then say, as the governor of the great state of California, if you in your workplace want to require them, that's up to you. If you as a place of business feel like that's the best way to do it, you can do that. You're gonna get the repercussions from that. Some people will love it, some people will hate it. But you as a business, a private business, have the opportunity to put rules in place that you think best protect your customers and your workers, but most importantly, and again, this does not exist in these rules, that we all need to take responsibility for our own health. The government does not care, will not care, cannot care on the micro level. Individually, they don't give two piles of rat turd hantavirus about you. They don't care. So you, as an individual, have to decide, do I want to continue to wear a mask? Fine. That no one's going to, well, people will judge you, but that's up to you. Listen, if you want to wear a mask, continue to wear a mask. There's nothing wrong with it. You're not doing anything to me. You're not hurting me. But if I choose not to wear a mask because I am fully vaccinated and I have read the statistics and I do know how to do math and I understand risk, then let me live my life.
You're trying to get the government out of your business? I mean, I'm all for it, but I don't think it's very likely. They love to be in your business.
By the way,
they love to tell you what to do.
I did watch about 45 minutes of that meeting last night.
That troubles me.
Painful.
Yeah,
it was painful.
I mean, it's reminiscent of covering the Board of Supervisors meeting.
Oh, but even
And that's
worse.
before cell phones, you guys. I just sit there and listen to that crap for hours. Listen to Mark Ridley Thomas go on and on about office chairs.
And then the office chair.
I didn't have a distraction. It was in the dark ages.
I didn't have a distraction.
All right, coming up next, I read this morning that people are taking fewer showers in the pandemic.
Oh.
They're also changing the office dress code. We'll tell you about the changes coming up next.
Gary and Shannon will continue in for Handle. From the newsroom, Jennifer Jones-Lee.
The nation's top expert on COVID-19 says attacks on him are attacks on science. Dr. Fauci slapped back at people who've been pushing for him to be fired, calling it totally preposterous. A law in Missouri that bans abortions at 8 weeks will not be enforced. A federal appeals court made that ruling yesterday after hearing arguments in September. And a new Facebook smartwatch will reportedly come with 2 cameras that can share photos and video directly to social media. We've got an issue on the 605. We'll look out with Kfi in the sky next.
You got to get out of that house. And you're going over the checklist in your mind, and it is daunting. Cleaning, painting, repairing, staging. Holy hell.
It's bad enough even if you have time for it, but what if there is a time element? There's a crunch, you got to move or downsize. Maybe some financial issues have crept up on you, or you inherited a place that you don't want to have anything to do with. What if you could sell that home for a fair price without any of the other hassle?
What if you could sell it without an appraisal? You wouldn't have to pay a commission. Nobody would be walking through it, touching all your stuff. What if you could get paid in cash and get it done fast, like in 10 days or fewer?
This is exactly what directbuyers.com will do. Directbuyers.com is a local family-owned business. Brother and sister, Janet and Matt, have been around since 1986. They took over the business from their parents. They've been around, and they are people that you can trust.
We trust them. There are a lot of places we don't trust. I mean, don't go to a national call center for this kind of thing. Go to directbuyers.com. They will give you an honest, no-obligation offer. They could even get you $15,000 for a cash advance before closing to help with your move.
Do not sell your home until you talk to directbuyers.com. Directbuyers.com, 844-242-SELL, 844-242-SELL, directbuyers.com.
If someone jumps back because of your breath, you need Smart Mouth, the 24-hour mouthwash. You want to turn heads, but not like that. Smart Mouth is the only mouthwash that can provide 24-hour fresh breath when used twice a day. Find Smart Mouth in the mouthwash aisle at CVS or visit smartmouth.com to find a retailer near you.
SoCal weather from KFI. Sunny today with highs low 70s to the low 80s. This report is brought to you by Smart Mouth, the only 24-hour mouthwash with twice daily use. Let's look at that drive on the 605.
Santa Fe Springs, southbound 605, right up the 5 freeway. Had a wreck here. It is over to the right shoulder now. That south 605, kind of a struggle anyway for you from about Whittier Boulevard. KFI in the Sky is sponsored by injury attorney superwomansuperlawyer.com. Jeff Baugh, police activity on the 10.
All right, listen up now. This is a major event playing out in Fontana. We've got a freeway completely shut down in both directions. I'll do the traffic part first. Eastbound 10 is closed at Citrus. The backup, it's not a backup, it's stopped. The parking lot all the way through the 15. Westbound at Cedar, that is backed up through Rancho. Simply put, the alternatives for you is stay with freeways in between the 215 and the 15, 210 or the 60, even Route 66, which is actually Foothill Boulevard. Now, this is all due to someone sitting on an overpass. We're circling over right now over the 10. Police are down there, intervention team. They've got the bag on the freeway, the whole routine. This freeway is shut down now again in both directions coming through Fontana. More coming up. Injured in an accident, visit superwomansuperlawyer.com. Jeff Baugh, KFI in the Sky.
Rush and Buena Park, 91 eastbound just before Knott. That stops you up right around Shoemaker. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Robin Banks.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's is your go-to for great gardening values every day. Select bagged mulches now just $2.88 a bag. Shop online and pick up in-store. Lowe's, home to the best part of summer. Selection and product availability vary by location while supplies last, U.S. only.
Summer is here and it is getting hot.
Hey, you know what else is hot? The money that I'm saving with SolarMax technology.
Without upfront cost?
Yeah, that's because SolarMax does everything themselves under one roof right here in Southern California,